24 years ago today, in about 6.5 hours, I would be sitting in my seventh grade history class at Walter H. Crowley IS 5 on Jacobus Street, right off of Queens Boulevard in the heart of Jackson Heights, Queens. The principal comes over the loudspeaker and announces there has been an emergency in Manhattan. I'm closing the school early. And naturally, you get to hooting and hollering as kids do. My history teacher gets a phone call, and I see his face drop. He says to me, "You'd best see yourself downstairs. Your parents are here to pick you up." As I entered the hallway of the third floor of that school, the halls seemed bigger. The halls seemed emptier. Was when too quiet became too quiet. Like something really fucked up had happened, and whatever it was just about to make itself known. I make it for the stairs. And again, that same damning sense of quiet, that same horrific calm pervaded everything. I didn't hear another student. I didn't hear what I would have assumed would be the raucous celebrations of kids going home early. As I get to the landing of the second floor, I start to hear radios. Massive amounts of radio chatter. And then my young brain realized that radio chatter was the sounds of police. And not just one radio, but tens of them. And I nervously crept down the stairs like I was trying to avoid them. And at the bottom of the stairs on the first floor, there he was. My father, crying on the shoulder of a police officer. It was the first time I've ever seen a grown man cry. My father looked up at me, and I was horrified. My father was covered head to toe in dust. His eyes were so bloodshot that it looked like he'd been crying blood. And that is arguably one of my most powerful memories. We left the school, and it was as though war had broken out. Police were everywhere, cars screaming past us, and I had no idea what was going on until we turned onto a street that gave us a perfect view of lower Manhattan, and I saw it, smoke, the growing black cloud over lower Manhattan. That was the first time in my life that I truly felt fear, and I didn't know at the time that two planes had barreled into the World Trade Center, demolished them, killed thousands, traumatized thousands. And I didn't know where my dad had worked. My father got out of the second tower with minutes to spare and managed to duck somewhere safe. Early cell service was dead anyway. So my father walked to the only thing he could do. Walked from lower Manhattan, over the Brooklyn Bridge, up through Brooklyn, back into Queens. And weeks following 9/11 were the first time that I ever felt truly patriotic, that I ever felt like being an American fucking mattered. Because there was this sense of community, the sense of you look out for me, I'll look out for you, the sense of we're in this together. And it lasted all of 2 fucking weeks, admittedly. I am quite angry. I am angry that 24 years later, and September 11th is not a national holiday. I am angry that politicians used a national tragedy of this magnitude not to bring people together, but to further their own agendas. I am angry that sense of patriotism, that sense of community and love for your fellow man died within weeks of the attacks. I will never, ever forget the damage that it did to my father. I will never, ever forget the fact that the stand-up guy my father was became irrevocably changed and irrevocably altered on that horrible day. And I will never forget the people who lost their lives. I will never, ever forget what would come after. And I would never, ever forget that I knew what it meant to be an American in those 2 weeks. And today is my mother's birthday. My mother won the unfortunate lottery of being born on September 11th. I love my mother to death. I hate this day with a passion because it's one of those days where, even though it's been 24 years, it's as though the world is still waiting with bated breath for something else to happen. And I really don't know what else to say on the matter other than it's been 24 years and shit still hasn't changed. I'm still putting this episode up, however short it may be, because these things need to be said. These conversations need to be had, because if they don't, what are we doing? This has been a very short, brief bonus episode of I Am Heathen and So Can You.